presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Winning 5 of the last 6 at home, the Rangers continue the series with the Twins. Andrew Kashner gets the nod in Game 2 from Globe Life Park. Welcome to Rangers Baseball presented by AT&T. It is a warm, beautiful night here in Arlington, although breezy. Once again, that wind really blowing in as a couple of 9-win teams get after it, the middle game of our 3-game series from Globe Life Park. And hello again, everybody. Welcome in. Great to be along with you tonight. I'm Dave Raymond with Rangers Hall of Famer Tom Grieve. And we saw a 3-2 loss last night. Rangers hoping to get back on the winning track today. They hope that will start with starting pitching. Last time through the rotation, they were great, and it all started with Andrew Kashner.
It did, against Kansas City. And Andrew started the season on the disabled list, had a little bit of a biceps issue in spring training. His first start was in Seattle. It was a solid start. His start against Kansas City was even better. 6 shutout innings in the Rangers' 13-inning shutout win. When you look at his pitches against Kansas City, everything was down. He's a sinker ball pitcher. He wants to get ground balls. When he misses, he likes to keep the ball down and out of the strike zone. One thing he'll be hoping for tonight, Dave, is some runs. Rangers have been shut out both times he pitched.
Yeah, amazing the luck that he has had, not just this year, but in his career that way. But if the Rangers are going to score runs tonight, it's going to come against a guy who, statistically speaking anyway, has been the best in the American League so far.
Yeah, he's probably been the best in all of baseball. He's a solid pitcher, he's not necessarily a #1 starter. This is probably the best stretch he's ever had in his career. He's a slider pitcher, and when he's commanding his slider, you'll see the type of swings that hitters take. He keeps the ball away from the right-handers. He's not afraid to throw it down and into the left-handers. He's given up 9 hits in 28 innings. Opponent's batting average below 100, 2 runs in 28 innings. His ERA is .64. This guy's hot.
Yeah, he's red hot right now. And this Rangers offense, one that you can see has done damage to Santana in the past. And they're looking for a spark tonight. And they hope that will come from Joey Gallo. Gallo has provided a bit of a spark this week with 4 home runs in a 7-game stretch. But it's not just offense from this young superstar. He's done it with the glove as well. And he hopes to get things started for the Rangers tonight in our middle game against Minnesota. AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, set to go tonight. Middle game of our 3-game series. But before we get things started, let's check in with Emily Jones.
Well, Dave, as you well know, the big position battle in spring training was in left field. 3 guys having great springs, all earned playing time to start the season. Ryan Rua, Jurickson Profar, and Delino DeShields. Jurickson Profar getting the majority of the starts in left to begin the season. In fact, 11 of the last 13. However, he has not produced offensively, hitting just .135 right now. So Jeff Bannister said Pro has gotten his shot. Now it's time to give Ryan Rua a little time to see what he can do in left field. Rua has started a handful of games as well, but he hasn't gotten that consistent time, that knowing every day coming to the park that he's going to be in the lineup. He's going to afford him that opportunity over the next couple weeks and see what Rua is able to do.
Well, thanks, Emily and Tom. Yeah, they're looking for something to spark this offense.
Yeah, and with the World Baseball Classic and injuries, all 3 of those guys were playing regularly in spring training, practically getting a lot of regular at-bats. They were all hot. They all ended up strong in spring training. During the season, you don't have that same luxury. And so what you have to do is you have to be prepared, and then you have to take advantage of your shot. Jurickson had a little bit of a shot. All his at-bats didn't go his way. And now Ryan Rua is going to get a little bit of a shot. And if he gets hot, maybe he takes the ball and runs with it. We'll see. But this is a good opportunity for Ryan, and we'll see what he can do on an everyday basis playing against not just lefties, but also righties.
Yeah, that will be part of the interest in this move, to see how he fares. I think getting a chance every day. As we take a look now at the Twins batting order tonight, they come in 9 wins, 10 losses. Brian Dozier delivered the big hit yesterday out of that leadoff spot, and he's there once again. We see Max Kepler added tonight in right field. Jorge Polanco has been their go-to man in RBI situations this year. He's batting 5th, playing shortstop. Jason Castro out yesterday, left-handed hitting catcher, in there today, batting 6th. Talking about that hit yesterday from Brian Dozier, came after 3 walks in the inning.
Got 3 walks and then a changeup that Martin didn't get down and away quite enough. And Dozier stayed with it, ripped it into the gap in left center field. Cleared the bases.
Well, Andrew Kastner has the start against that lineup tonight.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at his arsenal. He throws a lot of 2-seam fastballs. In fact, that is pretty much his fastball. Throws some 4-seam fastballs, but his game plan is to throw the 2-seam fastball down around the knees, make it sink, get some ground balls. Throws a lot of changeups, 25%, and you mix in an occasional slider and a curveball.
Well, the Rangers defense tonight delivered to you by DeMontrond RV.
Look at the Ranger defense. Big change is Ryan Rua in left field, getting an opportunity out there. Other than that, same players. Carlos Gomez playing an excellent center field. Nomar in right field. Up the middle, it's Elvis and Rubned, and Jonathan Lucroy is behind the plate.
Well, as you look at Ryan Rua with that start in left field today, and that was the big topic of conversation this afternoon down at the clubhouse and with Jeff Bannister during his media session today. And he was, look, he was straightforward about it. He said it in pretty much the same terms every time, which was Jurickson Profar got a shot, got a chance to get everyday at bats, and now it's somebody else's turn. So Rua, that man tonight. Brian Dozier will lead it off for the Twins tonight. Guy coming off a huge year last year for Minnesota. And as we just showed you moments ago, delivered the one real moment last night in the game. It really was a very quiet game otherwise for both teams. In fact, Dozier with a couple of hits last night. And that boosts his on-base percentage a little bit. 2-0. Dozier last year with 42 home runs for the Twins, and that was of course led the team, but as a second baseman even that much more remarkable. And he walks on 4 straight pitches to open the game tonight.
Well, something the Twins early in the season, 20 games into the season, something the Twins have done a lot. The base on balls. We have a couple of guys, the top 2 or 3 in the league in walks. Dozier gets one.
Yeah, they walked 6 times last night, and you can see right there that's coming into tonight's game. Most in the American League, 85 walks. This is their 20th game of the year. Runner going, the throw down to second, a beauty. And Dozier gunned down, 1 away.
Well, that's the way to eliminate a walk. Catch him stealing. Twins going into that steal attempt had 8 stolen bases. Dozier had 5 of them. He was 5 out of 6. Now he's 5 out of 7. Jonathan Lucroy guns him down. Since the start of 2011, no one has thrown out more runners stealing than Jonathan Lucroy. 4 for 13 now on the season for the Rangers. Boy, that's really a boost to Andrew Cashner, who didn't have his command to Dozier, walked him, and actually I think Dozier did him a favor, giving Jonathan a chance to gun him down for the first out.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, he was out by a mile too.
Yeah, and you know, he just thrown 5 straight balls, 4 straight balls, and off he went. You would think he might wait until he locates the strike zone before you risk being thrown out at second base. In any event, the Rangers are glad he tried.
The 2-0 pitch, and boy, Cashner is yet to find the strike zone. Max Kepler in the lineup today, starting in right field, batting second. Good young player. And there's the strike. We got a little taste of Kepler last year in what was an otherwise very forgettable series against the Twins. Strike 2 called, and it's a full count. He had 4 home runs in 8 games last year, and you see his splits. That's why he's in the lineup today. He handles right-handed pitching, obviously a great deal easier than he does lefties. And he watches strike 3.
Yeah, I thought so. That ball came back on Kepler. The ball started out inside. I think he was right, but unfortunately that late movement brought it right back into the corner of the plate. See the 2-seam fastball, the spin and the movement. Kepler thought that was a lot more inside than it was. It actually caught the plate for strike 3. So nice comeback from a 3-0 count. Good movement on that pitch.
Well, that's a big bounce back. So now Miguel Sano, strong right-handed hitter, average is low, but the power has been there, and he has done a terrific job of just finding his way to first base. And that 3rd spot of the order. 2-0 the count to Sano. Our plate umpire tonight, Chad Fairchild, kind of left us guessing there for a moment on that 3rd strike call. A little dramatic pause before he finally rung up Kepler. There's 2-1 now to Sano. Cashner's 3rd start, his 2nd here at home, and he has been awfully good. And I was interested, Tom, when he made his first start. You know, he had the setbacks during spring training, but really didn't go out on rehab assignments. Just kind of joined the rotation, and man, it's been sharp from get-go.
Yeah, I think he's a veteran guy that was very comfortable with his simulated games he was throwing, the work he was doing on the side, and when the opportunity came for him to start in Seattle, he was ready for it, and he knew it, and he looked that way through, I believe it was 5 shutout innings, and then get touched up a little bit in the 6th, but he threw the ball well that day in his first start.
Well, he walks Sano, and with 2 out, Twins have a base runner again. It'll bring up Joe Mauer. Now Cashner, signed by the Rangers last November, just a little before Thanksgiving, from Conroe, Texas. A good bit north of Houston. Last year split time in the National League between the Padres and the Miami Marlins. Originally a 1st-round draft pick by the Cubs back in 2008. And he starts Mauer off with a strike. Mauer 224 for the year. Weird numbers for Mauer, who's a career .308 hitter.
Almost every team that the Twins face shift the outfield pretty much in extreme fashion. I think there's some teams that shift even more than the Rangers do, and play Mauer like an extreme right-handed pull hitter. If you throw him hard stuff and not off-speed pitches, very seldom does he hit the ball to the right of second base, and almost never will he pull the ball down the line. If you throw him a changeup or a slow curveball, he'll do that. But if you throw him hard stuff up and out over the plate, it usually goes the other way, and he doesn't have really the power to drive the ball over the outfielders' heads.
This one into center field, base hit. Sano turns second, and he'll get all the way to third base. Well, they're on the corners now in the first inning.
That ball's hit almost up the middle, a little bit to the right of second base, and it's the right fielder who's in front of the ball, ready to catch it. High fastball that Mauer did pull slightly to the right of second base. See how far over Nomar was.
So a hit for Mauer, first hit of the ball game, and it'll bring up Jorge Polanco. And we noted when we were going down the lineup that Polanco has been the guy who really has produced well for the Twins in these run-scoring situations. Polanco, you see, 275 average. That's good. The on-base average, very good as well. And now a conversation on the mound. Pitch count already over 20 in this first inning.
Yeah, 8 strikes and 13 balls. Fortunately, Dozier was thrown out stealing, and even with the strike ball ratio, Andrew has a good opportunity to get Polanco right here and get out of the inning without giving up a run.
So conversation over. And there's a strike. 1-1 on Polanco. Runners in scoring position, 6 for 13. He's 4th best in the league, and it's now 2-1. Cashner battling that strike zone a bit in this first inning. Now 3 balls and a strike to Polanco with a left-handed hitting Jason Castro waiting on deck. And again, Lucroy out in front of the plate talking to his infielders.
Letting the infielders know what they're going to do if Mauer chooses to run on this play. Men on first and third with 2 outs. Pretty good chance that Mauer's not going to do that, but just in case, you have to know what you're going to do with the ball ahead of time.
That's a full count now on Polanco. Well, he'll be running this time. Sano at third. Mauer leaving first, and the 3-2 pitch is low. And another walk. Third of the inning. The bases are loaded now. And Cashner will go after Jason Castro.
The walks were obviously an issue in last night's game. The 3 walks preceded the double by Dozier. That was the total scoring for the Twins last night. But the Rangers walked 6. They've walked 3 already today. Pitch just a little bit below the strike zone, trying to keep it down. Just missed the bottom of the strike zone. The ball sunk below the bottom of the strike zone. And then again, just to reiterate, the Twins lead Major League Baseball in walks.
So Cashner to Castro, and misses with his first offering. Castro at 213. You see a lot of low averages all across. It can't just be a coincidence of everybody we have played, can it? I mean, it seems like everybody's loaded with 200 hitters.
Yeah, I guess you have to go to Arizona and Colorado to see offenses that have been murdering the baseball.
And already Bannister, you can see, using that phone to the bullpen. That's not a good sign. 3 walks in the inning, bases loaded against Cashner, but he's 1 out away from getting his team back into the dugout. Castro goes chasing. He has done a good job on left-handed hitters. Coming into today's game, lefties just 2 for 21 against Cashner, but Maurer got him for that base hit a little bit earlier. He did strike out Kepler. And this one up the middle, but right there for it is Andrews. Plenty of time, inning over. Whew, Cashner walking the tightrope of the first inning. Needed 30 pitches to do it, but leaves them loaded. Here come the Rangers. The first, and now the Rangers coming. As we take a look at our Southwest batting order for the Rangers, 9 wins and 11 losses, and a little shift up at the top of the order tonight, as well as the change in left. So Chu batting in the leadoff spot. Carlos Gomez drops to second in center field. And a lot of what you're typically used to seeing. Luke Croy doing the catching, batting 8th. Great numbers against Santana, but Ryan Arua, the left fielder tonight and for the foreseeable future, and he's batting 9th against Irvin Santana.
Yeah, there's the pitch arsenal for Irvin Santana. His fastball is basically a sinking fastball. He throws almost all 2-seam fastballs. His breaking ball is a slider. He uses it a lot, 35% of the time, and he also mixes in a pretty good changeup. And command is his strong suit, and obviously through 4 starts this year, his command has been pretty much impeccable. Giving up 2 runs in 28 innings, 9 hits in 28 innings.
Yeah, he has been tough, and he turns Chu off the plate. 1-1. 2, meanwhile, now into that leadoff spot tonight, and it's largely because of that 357 on base average you see. He's done some walking lately. In fact, 8th in the American League with 12 walks.
Well, this will be a good test for Santana. He's off to the spectacular start, but in this ballpark, 6-7 with a 6.93 ERA. He's had 17 starts here.
Chu sneaks one through on that right side of the infield, and he is aboard to start the bottom of the first. Now that looked like it was placed in a tough spot, Tom, but there might have been just a moment's hesitation too.
Fastball up and out over the plate. Chu got enough of it to sneak it by Dozier.
So, base runner for the Rangers. And Carlos Gomez dropped to second in the order today. And he goes chasing. So Jeff Bannister shaking some things up a little bit. Not huge moves, but trying to give a slightly different look, see if there's some combination that might get this offense clicking a little bit. Part of that is this tweak up at the top of the order. Gomez, the average is down to 215 for him. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. He's an awfully versatile hitter, a guy you can put anywhere in the order. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, I thought he swung the bat really well last night. Got underneath one and just missed one that he could have hit a long way, but 8 for 21, hitting 5 straight. He's hit well against the Twins in the past.
2 with a small lead, not going anywhere, and it's 2-1 on Gomez. Yeah, Gomez with 8 hits, including a couple of doubles on this 5-game streak. 2 for 4 yesterday with a double. And he'll bunt this one toward third, and that's going to be a tough play. They got him at first.
Wow.
We will see, though. Jeff Bannister immediately holding out his hand. I'm sure it'll be pretty clear on a first look here, but that was very close at first. I think he's, golly.
I think that's going to stand probably. But that's some kind of play by a guy who weighs 270 pounds at third base. The one thing on that kind of a bunt, when Carlos bunted that ball, he stepped back to bunt it. The ball was inside. So when the ball was down on the ground, he really didn't get a good jump out of the batter's box. Yeah, I think it's probably going to stand.
They're going to let it go.
But that's some kind of play by Sano. Even though Carlos wasn't able to get out of the box as quickly, if the pitch is outside, you're going toward the ball, which means you're going toward first base. But there's a guy 275 pounds coming in toward home plate with agility and arm strength, and that's a beautiful play. I give him credit for that one. That was a beautiful play by Sano. Thought it was, even not getting out of the box, looked like it was going to be a base hit.
They give Gomez a sacrifice. Chu now in scoring position. And a chance for Mazar to bring him home as he takes strike 1. Omar at 259. It has been exactly 1 week since he has driven in a run, and yet continues to lead the American League with 17 RBIs. Count 0-2. His last RBI came on a fielder's choice last Tuesday in Oakland, middle game of that 3-game series out at the Coliseum. But he got out so quickly and so far out in front of the rest of the American League that he is still the one they're chasing. 4 homers, 3 doubles for him. One and 2. Castro has trouble with it, and Chu got hung up. He started, but then hesitated for a moment, and that killed him. Wow, 2-5 caught stealing, and the bases are empty.
Chu saw the ball, and then he saw Castro look like he couldn't find it. The problem was the ball was right next to Castro, even though he couldn't find it. As soon as he did find it, all he had to do was reach down and throw it. Right idea, but picked the wrong ball to try to do it on. Like to get to third base with only 1 out, but that was one you couldn't do it on.
A rather weird first inning, hasn't it? I mean, Cashner really had to labor to get through the top half, but did. Left the bases loaded. Got a caught stealing in there. Now a great play by Sano moments ago. Really changed this inning. Mazara stays alive 2-2. So yesterday was a close one. Rangers scored single tallies early, took a 2-0 lead into the 5th inning. And that's when the Twins scored their 3 runs, and that was it last night. Full count now on Mazara. Twins coming to Texas after a tough homestand in which they lost 7 of their 9 games. Paul Molitor's club with a much needed win last night for them. Bouncer right side picked up by Dozier, and Mazara erased, and it's a quiet bottom of the 1st inning. So to the 2nd inning we go. No score. Spotlight. Joey Gallo is his dad Tony, a pitcher in the Expos organization back in the day. Learned to hit from Chris Bryant's dad, Mike. In fact, Mike Bryant and Tony Gallo, they coached together for quite a while in Las Vegas. As Kenny Vargas pops this one up near second base, Elvis Andrus wants it, and that is out number 1.
That's a pretty good star power in Joey Gallo's past growing up. Incredible teammates, great coaching, and a dad who played professionally. No wonder he's a great ball player.
His dad was a pitcher, but said from a very early age that, you know, Joey picked up the bat and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to swing it, although he did pitch.
Yeah, Scout said he threw the ball 95, 96 miles an hour, so he probably could have done that if he chose to. But when you've got that kind of power, you have to try hitting first, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. There was a showcase many years ago where he apparently hit 100 on the radar gun.
Wow.
Bouncer up the middle, and that one through. So Rosario is aboard. And now the throw to second, and he is in there. That ball hit both Andrew Cashner, and it looked like Elvis got just a little bit of his glove on it. It's a double.
Well, that's an unusual double. Right back through the middle. I thought Elvis was going to be able to make the play. Couldn't quite get to it. Ball went underneath his glove. And in Rosario's case, he just kept right on going. Never stopped and beat the throw to second, kept his foot on the bag. And ground ball back to the pitcher ends up as a double.
So a 9th place hitter. And Byron Buxton, who does have very good speed, looking for any way to get on base these days. The 105 average.
Yeah, you know you're probably struggling when there's one out and a man on second and you're thinking about dragging a bunt.
Well, he's thinking about it again. 2-0.
Well, if you are pretty confident that you can bunt it and beat it out, that's fine. But moving the guy to third base with one out is not going to do you much good if you're the second out.
And now the corners are in a little bit. Gallo respecting the signaling that Buxton has done here. But it's 3 balls and no strikes.
When Buxton walked last night in that 3-run inning, it was his 3rd walk. He'd walked twice in 55 or 56 at bats.
Now it's 3-1. This is the 3rd 3-ball count already for Andrew Cashner. That walk you're talking about, though, that was, we can talk all we want about the at-bat by Dozier. That walk to Buxton was the game changer.
Yeah, it looked like the 3-2 pitch could have been called a strike, but it wasn't.
There's a strike, and it's a full count now on Buxton. And there's a much more dangerous hitter, at least right now, waiting on deck. Their leadoff man, Brian Dozier.
Rangers have really worked early in the season keeping the runner at second base close. They picked a runner off second base twice already and thrown several other times in an attempt to make sure they keep him as close to second as they can.
Count stays full. Yeah, in fact, it was Cashner's that last start on Thursday when he picked off Moustakas out there at second.
Darvish had the other one.
First in Darvish's career. So yeah, it's been in the playbook. Well, Buxton battling here. This will be the 7th pitch of the at bat. And he earns a walk. So he had come in with just 2 walks this year. That is the 3rd that he has managed in this series. That is the 4th walk issued by Andrew Cashner tonight.
Yeah, and in Cashner's first 2 games, he pitched well, but he still walked 7 guys in 11 innings. So there were command issues in those 2 starts, even though for the most part he pitched around them very well.
Now a couple of runners out there for Dozier, and he takes a strike. Dozier walked in the 2nd inning and was caught stealing right after he had gone down to first. He took off on the first pitch to the next hitter. And that was a little bit of a lift. Cashner could really use a ground ball here. One and one. Rangers have turned the most double plays in the American League, 28 of them so far this year. Cashner has been getting ground balls this year at a higher rate than he ever has in his career. So perhaps the confluence of those 2 things could equal something good right here. One and 2 to Dozier. Well, we noted these numbers last night because he was 0 for 9 last night at the moment he came up with the bases loaded and had his first hit with a runner in scoring position. Well, here he is again now. Now 1 for 10. That one was a big one, though. Little extra work early on so far for Cashner. It's 2-2. Cashner, 30 years old. We mentioned that, you know, he had some time in which he was shut down during spring training. Right biceps tendonitis. And so that limited some of the work he was able to do during spring training, but then didn't get to start until the second time through the rotation. But he has been good in his first 2 times out. His last time out was really good. He has come up against some really good pitching, though. It's really funny how it works out for guys. Their spot in the rotation. Gets Santana today. Easily the hottest pitcher in baseball. Bouncer shortstop. Andrews to Odor. There's the one. On to first. Double play. So they get the 6-4-3, and Cashner out of trouble in the second. No score after an inning and a half. We're going to see Mike Napoli, Rougned Odor, and Elvis Andrus when we come back. Early on as we go to the bottom of the second inning of tonight's TXU Energy Power Player to Watch. Here you go. These are going to be some good numbers from Mike Napoli. He has had lots of success against Irvin Santana. I like the power numbers there as much as anything. Napoli with 3 homers this season, 8 RBIs. The average just at 169, but started to make more consistent contact lately. Took safely in 4 of the last 5 games. He's ahead here 2-0.
Santana had a pretty good year for the Twins last year. He was only 7-11, but his ERA was 3.38. And he finished strong. In fact, if you go back to his last 22 starts, 18 last year and his 4 brilliant starts this year, he's 9-4 with a 2.06 ERA.
Oh, pop up back of second base. Whoa. Dozier ended up taking it even though Polanco was closing in on him. 1 out. MLB umpires to host 9th annual online auction for Umps Care Charities this Friday through May 1st. MLB umpires will offer up more than 300 items that include priceless autographed sports memorabilia, one-of-a-kind VIP experiences, and ticket packages during its 9th annual Umps Care Charities auction. It is online. You can check it out It's on the website right there. Great idea, great cause. Is now Rougned Odor steps in and takes ball one that is, from Santana. Rudy batting fifth. A lot of those power numbers happen in the first handful of games of the regular season here at Globe Life Park. In fact, he was crushing the ball in that opening series against the Indians. And we got to slow down a little bit once we hit the road.
And Nomar's kind of in the same situation. Nomar started off 10 for 17 early.
Hit sharply, but foul by first.
Well, both of those guys are right on the verge of getting hot. You go based on their talent and how long they've been cold.
So I used to work with a manager who had a theory about guys who have been, let's say 0 for 13, whatever the case, and we've seen a handful of those recently. And his theory was that they were a great bet for the lineup. He was, oh no, I got to get that guy in there because, statistically speaking, it's almost impossible for him to go 0 for 14.
Yeah, that's a good theory for not giving a really good hitter a rest when he's in a slump, because sooner or later he's going to come out of it, and you hate to have the day that he was scheduled to come out of it be a day that you benched him. Let him hit his way out of it.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Odor.
But I guess the opposite would be, if you've got a guy that's 14 for 20, do you sit him down because he's due to have 0 for 4? Not usually.
Right.
In fact, not usually. Never would you do that.
2-2, and Odor strikes out swinging. So 2 away. First strikeout of the night for Ervin Santana.
Well, Santana has an excellent assortment of off-speed pitches. That was his changeup. You could see how he split his 2 fingers to take the speed off the ball. It was just like a fastball. And he's got a solid fastball. His fastball is 91 to 94. And when you combine 10 or 15% of his pitches as changeups, a lot of good sinking fastballs, and really one of the better sliders that you'll see. You've got a pretty good reason why he's 3-0 after 4 starts.
Andrews offers it the first pitch. Sano right there, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second for Ervin Santana. So 2 scoreless tonight from Globe Life Park. Tomorrow night is Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Night. Rangers and Twins, final game of this 3-game series, a 7:05 first pitch, and hot dogs for $1. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Like that youngster a little earlier, he was getting a head start. So Andrew Cashner now in the 3rd inning, and he'll get the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Max Kepler, Miguel Sano, and Joe Mauer. And he starts off 2-0. I was about to say, Tom, that this would be an important inning for Cashner, just to kind of get things righted.
Well, he packed a lot of pitches into the first 2 innings, 46 pitches in the first 2 innings. But he managed to work his way out of both innings. He was helped by a caught stealing in the first inning, and then Dozier hit into a double play with a couple of men on in the second. But it's taken a lot of pitches to get this far.
Well, 3-1 now to Kepler. Keep track of these 3-ball counts for Cashner, and he's piled up a lot of those. Full count now. This is his 6th 3-ball count and his 5th full count. So that, you're just investing a lot hitter by hitter. The payoff, and he walks Kepler. All right, time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana Larson. That is not good news for those guys or for the Astros, who have gotten off to an unbelievable start as Miguel Sano takes a strike. And that is a really interesting series too. The Astros and the Indians. Astros with a 3-game lead in the West. The Indians tied atop the Central with Detroit. Indians have been playing a whole lot better baseball lately. As Cashner checks in with Max Kepler. Well, we will no doubt keep an eye on the news coming out of Cleveland with regard to that collision as we carry on here tonight. One and one now, the count to Miguel Sano. Just to the left of us upstairs here in our broadcast position is the Minnesota Twins television broadcast booth, and right across the window from me is Bert Blyleven. We talk about pitch counts and going deep. There's Bert. Oh, would you look at that? Pudge snuck in there as well.
Well, a couple of Hall of Famers.
He's getting his work in. Again, that's what we mentioned, Doug earlier. Discipline is very important. If you want to play this game for a long time, stay in great shape.
But Bert, he's a guy, he would go 9 innings every time. He would throw routinely 20+ complete games a year. And Sano lifts one high in the air to center. And he is out number 1.
Yeah, that was a different era. That was an era in a lot of cases where teams went with 4-man rotation. Starters got somewhere around 37 to 38 starts, sometimes more than that. And when they went out there, they expected to go 9 innings. Nolan Ryan's right there at the top of those kind of guys. Guys would throw 300 innings, 340 innings. But it's a different game now. Pitchers are groomed differently in college, in the minor leagues. And the expectation of 9 innings is not there, I don't think, for any pitcher in any start. Occasionally it happens, but it's unusual.
Yeah, I don't think it's there as an expectation, certainly. I mean, it does happen. I mean, Santana has a complete game this year.
I think the expectation is 6 innings, and you hope for more.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I guess that would depend team to team, man to man. I think, a lot of managers say, like, look, for my frontline guys, I'm expecting maybe 7 or hopefully 8. But to your point, I mean, the fact that we define a quality start as 6 innings and 3 runs allowed,
yeah, I don't think
pretty much says what you need.
I don't think that you would have gotten Tom Seaver or Gaylord Perry or Bert Blyleven to feel like that they'd had a quality start if they gave up 3 runs in 6 innings.
Yeah. So I tend to think then the guys back then pitch to contact, and we're looking for quick outs and that kind of thing. But you mentioned Nolan Ryan. We had the shot of Noli's retired number just a moment ago. Well, Nolan was a guy. I mean, he walked a lot of guys, struck out a lot of guys, would use an absurd number of pitches on any given night, but yet still go very deep.
Yeah, these guys weren't going 9 innings on 95 pitches. These guys were going 9 innings and throwing well over 100 pitches.
Little pop-up, tough spot out there in the left, long run. Rua, and he got there. Boy, what a nice play.
That was an unusual way of catching that ball. He had the palm of his glove down as he just reached out and speared it right before it was going to hit the ground. You could tell Ryan wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get to this ball. It's dying, it's slicing. He's got good speed. He stayed with it. And his palm wasn't facing up. His palm is facing down as he catches it right off the ground. That's not an easy way to catch that ball, but a beautiful play by Ryan. Took a little blooper away.
Man, a real nice play last night, and great defensive play here in the 3rd. Kepler stays at first base, and it brings up Jorge Polanco. No score, top of the 3rd. Now, Blyleven, a Hall of Famer, great curveball, fastball. You got him though, right?
Yeah, and believe me, it was pure luck. You go up there. Bert was an amazing pitcher. He probably threw 94 to 97 and a curveball. But those are basically, for most of his career, the only 2 pitches he threw. A 4-seam fastball and one of the probably 5 best curveballs of all time. And he came right at you, 3,700 strikeouts. And he was tough to hit, even though there was only 2 pitches. And if you guessed, you had a 50-50 chance. Problem was, if you guessed it was going to be a curveball and got it, you couldn't hit it anyway. So I think the only way to hit him was look for a fastball, hope you got one you could handle, and swing at it and hope that that's the one you could hit.
Do you remember the pitch you hit out?
Yeah, it was a fastball for sure. For sure. In fact, I think we beat the Twins that day 2-0 on that home run, and Cesar Tovar had one as well. Billy Martin used to, before the season started, ask every hitter who were the 2 pitchers in the league that you didn't want to face. And so I ended up facing Bert Blyleven because all the regulars said they didn't want to face him. So he had to put 9 guys. Someone had to play against him. But I would say if we had 13 or 14 offensive players on that team, probably 7 or 8 of them picked Bert Blyleven as one of the 2 guys they least like to face.
That's a great idea, by the way, polling the guys before the season.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Breaking ball in the dirt. And that will allow Kepler to move up to second base on the wild pitch. So he's in scoring position now. Did you get to write down 2 names?
I did write down 2 names, but when you're not playing every day,
right?
I was only playing against left-handed pitching. I certainly couldn't put down a left-hand pitcher because I wanted to play every chance I got. And if I put down a right-hand pitcher, it didn't matter anyway because I wasn't going to play against him no matter what. So mine was a nice exercise, but it didn't have a whole lot of meaning.
Now 2 out here in the 3rd inning. Kepler at second. A full count on Jorge Polanco, who walked in the 1st. And he keeps the at-bat going.
Billy, also, when you were on the bench and the team brought in a pitcher out of the bullpen, he'd walk down the bench and ask all the guys that weren't in the game that might be pinch hitting, can you hit this guy? Can you hit this guy? And, so what are you going to say? No.
You can't say no, right? There's no one.
But when it was Goose Gossage that came into the game, guys were turning their heads, trying not to make eye contact, because the only answer you could give if you were honest was no.
Chopper third base. Napoli had to go back for it. Gets it to Cashner in time. Close play at first. But they get Polanco. Now they're asking right now to take their 10 seconds to potentially review this one. Paul Molitor signaling out there to the umpire. Well, hang on.
No, that will not be challenged.
I can answer the question for you, Molly. You're not going to want to challenge that one. And so they do let it go. And we go to the bottom of the third. No score. Now is time for AARP's Getting to Know. We get to know Joe Mauer. And how about that? Only catcher ever to win a batting title, Gold Glove, and an MVP in one season. And you know, he's a guy, clearly he's been the identity of this franchise now for quite some time. As Gallo stands in to lead off the bottom of the third. And when it's all said and done, depending on how much longer he goes, his numbers, you know, they might be the best all time in the franchise's history. Got a little ways to go on a couple of them, though.
You know, when you look at Mauer's numbers the last 3 years, his average season over the last 3 years is .268 with 8 home runs and 56 runs batted in. He was a 3-time batting champion and an MVP, but over the last 3 years, not much in the way of production numbers.
No, and that's what's amazing when you look at his overall career numbers. The fact that he's a .308 hitter still, because 3 years, that's you're piling up some ABs.
You know, over 1,500 at bats probably.
And his numbers are still so remarkable. Well, you wonder if they had maybe pulled him out from behind home plate a little sooner in the career, if that might have helped at all. I don't know.
A lot of people think that the change to the new stadium from the Metrodome affected him negatively. You know, Metrodome was a great park to hit in, and a lot of the balls he hit the other way, and it's a lot of balls the other way. A lot of those balls found the first, second, or third row in the Metrodome, and they're finding the warning track in the new ballpark. So a lot of people credit the lack of numbers now to the new ballpark.
Well, a beautiful facility, but nowhere near as hitter friendly as Gallo strikes out swinging, and that's how we begin the bottom of the third inning. Now we send it back down to the field to Emily Jones.
Hey guys, time for our progressive fan of the game. It is Texas Women's University night here at the ballpark, and we have on hand the national champion champion gymnastics team, their 10th national championship they won a couple of weeks ago in Seattle. That, my dear, is cause for the Progressive fans.
Thank you.
And they're big Ranger fans, right?
Yeah, they are.
Right on cue, guys.
Well done. Well orchestrated. One out here, and Jonathan Lucroy batting 8th tonight. Santana misses with a ball, and it's 2-0. Santana with 2 strikeouts so far, has allowed 1 hit. Scoreless start to this one, but very different styles from the 2 starting pitchers. Lucroy hits that sharply into left field. So a base hit for Lucroy. Rangers have a base runner with the 3rd.
Look at the sinker from Santana. It's tailing in, stayed up. Didn't get it in as far as he wanted to. And Jonathan puts a great swing at it. Hits it sharply past the shortstop into left field.
Base runner for Ryan Rua. Rua getting the start in left field tonight. Batting 9th. And it was indicated today that that's going to be the case going forward here for a little while anyway. He's going to get a legitimate shot to get some extended at-bats and regular playing time in hopes of maybe getting things going and providing a spark, a little lift to this offense. One and one to Ryan Rua. It had more or less been Jurickson Profar's job for the first 20 games of the season, but it just wasn't coming around. Jurickson will take over a bit more of a utility role for the time being. Slow roller at third base. Sano will go to second for 1. The relay nowhere near in time at first. So 1 away. And Rua replacing Lucroy at first. Now the Rangers will be taking on the Angels this weekend. And on Friday, the first 40,000 fans to the ballpark will receive a rally towel courtesy of Big Green Egg and Tostitos. After the game ends, stick around and enjoy a fireworks show. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972 Rangers. Well, now to the top of the order for Chu. He had a base hit in the first. Rangers drawn a tough one today against Irvin Santana, who leads the American League in wins and earned run average. He's 5th in innings. One and one to Chu. Santana has allowed an opponent's batting average of less than 100 to this point of the season. It was .099 against Santana, easily the lowest in the American League. This will be his 40th pitch of the night.
Yeah, just crazy coming into the game. 9 hits in 28 innings.
So in some ways, I guess the Rangers kind of lighten him up so far. I mean, 2 hits. A breaking ball, the count 1-2. And we made note of it, but his career numbers in this ballpark are not that good. Longtime Angel, who has seen plenty of action here, a 6-7 record, an ERA just a smidge under 7 in his 17 starts. There you go. Rangers been hitting better than 300 against him in this ballpark. "34 years old now. Santana out of the Dominican Republic. This is his 3rd year with the Twins. Rule holds first. Count 2-2 now on Chu. This ball hit sharply down to first, but right there for it is Mauer. He'll step on the bag. Inning over. Rangers got another hit, but they leave another man. So we go to the fourth. Still no score.
Something to smile about. Ryan Rua last night going back to the wall made a superb catch. Showed his athletic ability and his speed, and then going in the opposite direction, sprinting in, backhanding it right off the ground. Probably takes a double away from Joe Mauer. So two beautiful plays by Ryan Rua to take extra base hits away from the Twins. Is cricket something to smile about? Thank you for that, Ryan.
Indeed. Cashner, little high to Jason Castro. Castro batting sixth tonight for the Twins. It'll be Castro, Kenny Vargas, and then Eddie Rosario. And it is 2-1. Cashner has worked around 5 walks, a single and a double. This is his 70th pitch of the night. Makes the count 2-2 on Castro.
Yeah, you've done some work and some grinding. If you've walked 5, given up a single and a double in 5 innings, and prevented the other team from scoring, that's working out of trouble.
Called strike 3, gets Castro looking.
Yeah, that's that ball that starts off inside and comes back toward the plate. There's no doubt that that pitch was a strike, but the movement is what fooled Jason Castro. Such an effective pitch because it's so hard to swing at it. You see it coming back, and there it is right on the inside corner. That was probably 4 or 5 inches inside most of the way. Caused Castro to take it, and then right at the end, there's the 2-seam fastball. That's what it's intended to do. Tail to the right and sink.
This ball hit well out to right field. Mazzara going back near the wall. He leaps, but that one is gone. Into the first row of seats. But Vargas with his first home run of the year. And he puts the Twins on the board, 1-0.
Yeah, Vargas is a big, strong guy. I don't think he even hit that ball very well. Didn't hit the barrel of the bat, but he hit it far enough to go 355 feet. Well, he hit it off the end of the bat. Well, he's not sure if it's going. He's hoping, and it carried just far enough. Go 2 rows back.
Now Eddie Rosario. Rosario doubled in the 2nd inning. Now big Kenny Vargas just called up for this series. He did some big things here last year. Of course, last year, the Twins just absolutely throttled the Rangers. It was a bizarre stretch in which they played 7 head-to-head games in a span of 10 days. And Twins were hot while the Rangers were scuffling. It was not a good time to get together. It's not for the Rangers.
I remember when the Rangers acquired Cliff Lee right before the All-Star break. They were playing well, and they played the Orioles 4 games at home right before the All-Star break, and the Orioles did the same thing, just crushed the Rangers 4 straight games. Cliff Lee got bombed in his first Ranger start. But then after the All-Star break, obviously the Rangers put it together and went to the World Series. But in any given moment, any short glimpse of games where you play 4-game series, you play 10 days, anything can happen. And that's just an example of what the Twins did to the pennant-winning team in the American League West over that 10-day period. They beat the Rangers by 9 runs or more 3 times in those 5 wins. So over the short term, what happens is pretty meaningless. But eventually, over time, when you get done playing 162 games over 6 months, the cream rises to the top. The good teams, the best team generally wins, unless there's been a lot of injuries. And you sort through all those bad streaks, bad series, and after 6 months, you pretty much know who the best team is. It's nothing luck, no luck involved over 6 months.
3-2 the count on Rosario. Well, to that end, you know, the way the baseball postseason has evolved in recent years. You know, it used to be the winner of the World Series, you felt like, yeah, that's the team, right? Of course, you had the pennant winner. You just had a team that would win the American League, win the National League, play them in the World Series, and that was that. But now with wild cards and everything else, it seems like there really are 2 distinct seasons. Fly ball to center field. And Gomez is there, 2 away.
Yeah, the postseason is so much different than the regular season. Over the regular season, depth comes into play. A starting rotation that's 5 deep carries you through 162 games. But when you get to the postseason, you never need your 5th starter. Depth doesn't play as big a part in it. So what comes into play in the postseason are your top couple of starters, and then basically which team is hot at the right time. Anything can happen in postseason play. I think skill enters into it. Over 162 games, the best team wins. But I think any baseball person, any baseball fan would say that's not necessarily the case in the postseason. It's the hot team that wins the World Series. There's been plenty of times where the best team didn't win the World Series. Sometimes it's a team that plays 7 games throughout the divisional play, and they haven't had much time off. They're hot. They're ready to play against a team that maybe wins in 4 straight, has 4 or 5 days off, loses that edge a little bit, goes into the postseason a little bit flat, and doesn't play as well in the postseason. Over 162 games, those things happen, but it's all taken care of because you play 162 games. In the postseason, good fortune can play a big part in it.
Yeah, they've done a lot of good stuff in recent years trying to tweak things in such a way to give those teams that survived the 162 in better fashion maybe an advantage. But that time off during the wild card stuff, it just doesn't, I don't like it.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about it. I remember I can't remember all the pitchers that they had, but the year that the Twins won the World Series, they had, I think they might have had Frank Viola. Can't remember all their starters, but they had 2 or 3 really good starters, and it carried them through the postseason. But during the regular season, they benefited because the Central Division didn't really have an outstanding team. And I think they went to the postseason having won 84, 85 games. But in the postseason, with a couple of top starters who were hot at the time, it carried them all the way through.
Well, Blyleven was on that staff in 1987.
Yep, Bert was one of them.
And you mentioned Viola. Joe Negro was on that staff.
Who was the other one? Lester.
Yeah, Straker.
Lester Straker. I think he was in their rotation toward the end. But over 162 games, that rotation didn't win 95 or 96 games. They got to the postseason because they didn't have another team in the division that was that good. But in postseason, the top of the rotation carried them through.
Check swing. The throw down to second base. Not in time. Buxton, who has very good speed, steals his second of the year.
You see the speed that Buxton has, and as his offense gets better and better and he increases his on-base percentage, then he'll be a base stealer. Guy that's very exciting to watch on the bases. Struggling so far this season getting on base, although he's walked and had a hit in this game, had a walk and scored a run last night.
Made his big league debut in this ballpark a couple years ago. Now in scoring position, and that one just misses. Ball 4 to Dozier. 6th walk allowed by Cashner. Brings up Max Kepler. Bullpen too, right, in the postseason, seems to me. You get a couple of hot arms. Andrew Miller last year, like the Indians last year, did the World Series on 2.5 starters and Andrew Miller.
Yeah,
I mean that's all you needed.
Boy, by the time the World Series ended, Andrew Miller was fried.
Yeah.
And so was Aroldis Chapman, for that matter.
Oh, yeah.
But they used him as much as they could, and boy, when you've got a pitcher like that, that's kind of how they used the pitchers in the old days. Goose Gossage is kind of an outspoken critic of the bullpen situation today. He looks back at the time when he was in the bullpen and saved 30 or 32 games and threw 140, 150 innings sometimes. He would come in and pitch 2 1/3, 3 innings. Much different now, although Terry Francona used Andrew Miller that way when they got him.
Well, a visit to the mound for Doug Brocail. After that walk, there is activity. You saw Anthony Bass loosening up. Here's Max Kepler. And Cashner gets right in there with a strike. Cashner has struck him out the first time up, but then walked Kepler to lead off the third. Oh, this will be pitch number 90 for Cashner, working in the 4th inning. 1-1. Kepler, one of the young players that Minnesota hopes will develop and become a real strong everyday player. Now 24 years old, from Berlin, Germany. Good size young man, 6'4", 220 pounds. He's in a hole 1 and 2. Well, he's got Buxton at second, Dozier at first. Cashner has 2 strikeouts so far tonight. And you can make it a third. He gets Kepler swinging, and the Twins leave a couple out there. I don't know how he's done it tonight. Cashner has allowed 1 run so far as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the fourth inning here tonight, and our power stats tonight brought to you by Kubota. And you might know that it would feature Irvin Santana. The way he has been going, 0.64 ERA and an opponent's batting average under 100 so far for Santana. He's in a great groove, pitching well tonight, working with a 1-0 lead now. And this is his 5th start of the regular season, and his first pitch to Carlos Gomez misses for ball 1. Carlos almost bunted his way on in the first inning. And because of that, Sano at third base has inched in a little closer than would be normal.
Talked about Santana coming into the game only having given up 9 hits in 28 innings. In his first 3 starts, he'd only given up 5 hits in 22 innings. He gave up 4 hits in 6 innings in his last start. He's got 3 starts where he's given up 2 hits, 2 hits, and 1 hit. The 1 hit was a 9-inning complete game.
Full count now to Gomez. Well, you look at the walks to strikeouts too, right? 8 walks, 20 strikeouts coming in. So it's overall few base runners against him. And it stays a full count on Gomez. Of course, he works with a very slim margin right now, and he walks Gomez to start the 4th inning. Well, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run. Their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved as a volunteer or participant at the upcoming Girls on the Run 5K on April 29th in Dallas. Just go to the website, GOTRDFW.org. Gomez is on. And now Nomar Mazara, who grounded out in the first inning. Nomar still with great overall numbers for the year, but it has been a struggle. Sunday had a couple of hits. That was against Kansas City, and it snapped an 0 for 19. Just 11 hits in his last 16 games. The average has dipped precipitously. And Gomez not much of a lead over there at first, but Santana lobbing it over there anyway. Now tomorrow, Nomar Mazara will turn 22 years old. Hard to believe, so young and so good already at this young age. And more than anything, Tom, it's just the way he handles himself. Obviously, he's put up the good numbers. He has great abilities, but we've talked about it a lot, that maturity with which he carries himself.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that are 22 years old that are coming out of college, entering the draft, waiting to go to the lower A ball.
Another soft toss with Gomez over there, who is a threat to run, though he is 0 for 1 this year in stolen base attempts. Levi Weaver, who writes for WFAA.com, he does such a terrific job. Very interesting perspective every day. This one in the dirt. Gomez with a late start to throw down to second, and they got him. Gomez read that one in the dirt and thought he might have had just a smidge more time.
Well, it's the second time that's happened today. It happened to Shin-Soo in the first inning. There's the tag on the wrist before the hand gets to the base. Great camera shot. No aggressive base running, but in both cases the Ranger runner was shot down.
One and two to Mazzara. But Levi, I thought Levi described it well. We've all tried to put into words how Mazzara, carries himself, how he operates, and he called it he said he surrounds himself with a fortress of calm. I thought that was a really clever way of putting it.
Yeah.
He goes down swinging, 2 out here in the 4th inning.
First baseman, Mike Napoli.
Well, every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon weekdays from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central, only on FS1.
Oh, you watch Santana pitch. He really is what pitching is all about. Disrupt the timing of the hitter. Mix your pitches up. Be able to throw basically your slider or your sinker at any time in any count and hit the spot you're aiming at. When you do that with good stuff, and his fastball's reached 94, when you do that with the stuff he's got, it adds up to what you're watching. Tremendous start to the season.
And he's done a nice job once again here tonight, working with a 1-0 lead and having to really, long pauses between innings for him. Jumps ahead of Napoli. No balls, 2 strikes. Napoli popped up in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1, but does have the kind of career numbers against Santana that would give you hope. He's hit Santana with regularity and with good power. And Santana can't seem to decide on what to throw to him. Now the 0-2, and it's in the dirt. Well, Napoli on this homestand, 3 hits and 14 at bats, but a home run, a double in there. He's gotten on base via the walk, been hit by a pitch. And takes it in. It's 2-2. This is 3rd time around with the Rangers. He's really excited to be back with the club, but it has been a tough start for him. Count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, there are those numbers against Irvin Santana. Just takes 1 swing in a game like this. Roller left side, smothered by Sano. Nice play to get up and get Napoli by a step. And it ends the inning. So nothing doing for the Rangers in the 4th. We're off to the 5th inning. 1-0 Twins. Unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. As we look at some of the news and notes around baseball, Jason Hayward has reached base in 17 of 18 games. Davidis Neverauskas made his debut last night for the Pirates. First person born and raised in Lithuania to make it to the big leagues. Miguel Sano fouls one off. We saw the news on Thames. How about Eric Thames, their showstopper tonight?
Well, I remember during the game last night, you said, believe it or not, Thames hit another one. And then later on, after that, he hit another one. He's hit one breaking ball to right field, another breaking ball to left field. That's 10 on the year, and he's hitting .373. So there's a lot of people that didn't know a whole lot about Eric Thames that are watching them, probably the hottest power hitter in baseball right now.
10 home runs in the month of April, and with a week to go. This ball lifted high in the air, deep left field, and that one will carry out of here.
Oh, that went over the restaurant.
Wow, a bomb by Miguel Sano, and it's 2-0 Twins.
Well, he can launch him. We saw him hit a couple in Minnesota last year, at least one that went a mile. He had 25 home runs last year. That's his 5th home run this year.
Well, and that is going to do it tonight for Andrew Cashner. Jeff Bannister is out and signals for the bullpen. A tough night for Cashner, who goes 4+ tonight and leaves trailing by 2. Leaves down 2-0 here with the 5th inning. Just a moment ago, the blow that ended his night off the bat of Miguel Sano.
Well, we kind of highlighted the young third baseman, 23-year-old third baseman in this game, Miguel Sano. Like a slider, a curveball maybe, whatever it was, it hung, and Sano got underneath it, launched it about almost 440 feet straight up in the air over the restaurant down the left field line. We've seen the kind of power Sano has with that long, majestic home run. We know the power that Joey Gallo has. And tonight, we've seen Miguel Sano make a beautiful play on a bunt, make a diving play to his left. And we've seen Joey Gallo all season long make all the plays at third base himself. So 2 big 23-year-olds with big-time power and surprising agility at third base for both of them.
21st time that a home run ball has landed up there in that club level of seats in left field. And now Anthony Bass has come on, replacing Cashner, and his job will be to go deep here in long relief. He was just called up on Thursday, his first action since being called up. And goes 1-1 here to Mauer.
Yeah, he was pitching great in AAA, 8 1/3 scoreless innings. Opponents were 2 for 26 against him. Faced 29 batters and struck out 16 of them.
Ahead of Mauer here, a ball and 2 strikes. Mauer tonight is singled and flied out. And his base hit was just to the right of second base, right as we were discussing the fact that he really doesn't pull the baseball quite as much these days.
Again, the outfield alignment will definitely show what the Rangers expect him to do if he hits the ball in the air.
And he pulls this one over first, and that's going to be a long run for Napoli, allowing Mauer to pedal to second base, and he has a double.
Yeah, you play the percentages, and most of the time, if he hits it down the line, it's going to be down the left field line. Ryan Rua is hugging the left field line, but this time Mauer got a fastball and turned on it. And just because you employ that kind of a shift in the outfield doesn't mean he's going to hit it there every time. It just means most of the time that's where he's going to hit it. But occasionally he'll pull the ball, and when he does, a single can turn into a double. More often than not, he'll hit that ball down the left field line, and Ryan will be standing right there to take the base hit away from him.
Polanco showing bunt and takes one high. That's interesting. Polanco, we were talking about him earlier. He has been lights out with runners in scoring position, hitting over 460 in these kinds of spots. He walked in the first inning at a time when there were men on the corners. He's swinging this time and fouls it straight back behind home plate, and that one will reach the stands. It's 1-1. Well, it's a 2-0 lead for Minnesota, but all things considered, Andrew Kashner dodged a lot of bullets tonight. Worked around 6 walks and 5 hits in 4 innings to surrender the 2 runs. Now it's going to be up to the bullpen now to take this thing the rest of the way, in hopes that the Rangers can get something going offensively against Irvin Santana, or at the very least get him out of the game. 3-1 to Polanco. Polanco just 23 years old, out of the Dominican, and he's got a little 3-game hitting streak going. Hits this ball sharply and down the first base line. That'll be extra bases. Mauer scores. Polanco stops at second, and it's 3-0 Minnesota.
Well, Polanco acted like he might want to bunt the runner over to third base, and after the bluff, then tried to pull the ball, and he definitely pulled this with authority. You can see him trying to get out in front of it, pull the ball to the right side, get the runner to third, and he hit it so hard it goes down the line, and he changes places with Mauer for an RBI double.
Well, there you go again. The guy who has done it this year for Minnesota, runners in scoring position. He delivers again, and now Jason Castro. Castro in the first year of a 3-year deal. He signed this last offseason with the Twins. Former first-round pick by the Astros. He's got Polanco at second. Nobody out here in the 5th inning. That one just inside the line and rolls slowly out there into left field. Polanco in, Castro to second, And that's 3 straight doubles off Anthony Bass.
Quite a difference between the last 2 doubles. Polanco got out in front of one and ripped it down the line. Castro just hit this ball toward the end of the bat and just weakly sliced it. He didn't even know where the ball was. He didn't start running till the ball almost hit the ground. It hits just inside the foul line for fairly unusual type of slicing, softly hit ball. The ball literally was past third base before Castro knew where it was.
Some frustration in this 5th inning. And now a strike to Kenny Vargas, who homered in the 4th inning to open the scoring in tonight's game. Vargas 1 for 2. It's a 4-0 Twins lead. Well, Anthony Bass back here stateside after spending last year in Japan. He pitched for the Nippon Ham Fighters. Won 8 games, lost 8 games, did a little starting and a little relieving last year in Japan. 1-2 the count on Vargas. First 4 batters have reached, all with extra base hits. 1-2. Bass, of course, was with the Rangers in 2015. Pitched in 33 games in 2015. And did a pretty nice job. Originally drafted by the San Diego Padres back in 2008. Well, Sano opened with a home run off Cashner. Bass came on, gave up the double to Maurer, double to Polanco, a double to Castro. 3 runs have scored. 2-2. That one hooked over first base and into right field. That's a base hit. They're going to stop Castro at third. Good throw to the plate. Probably would have gotten him. And they're on the corners, still with nobody out.
He's having a hard time getting it out here in the 5th inning. Vargas follows his home run up with a base hit. Home run, double, double, double single.
And Doug Brocail out there to try and maybe calm things down just a little bit. And this suddenly a little more reminiscent of that series we've referenced from last year, where the Rangers had a tough time getting outs against the Minnesota Twins. Last night was a good game. It was a 1-run game. 3-2 the final score. And so far this one been decidedly in favor of the Twins. It's a Twins team that came to Arlington in a bit of a scuffle. Had a real tough time in their homestand. And Eddie Rosario swings and misses at strike 1. He is 1 for 2 tonight. Twins have managed to hover right around 500. 9 wins, 10 losses. They're only a game and a half back in that very competitive Central. This one bounces away from Lucroy. Here comes Castro. He'll score. Vargas goes to second on the wild pitch. And it's a 5-0 Twins lead.
The ball hit right on the corner of the dirt and the plate as it gets by Jonathan.
1-1 pitch, and that one is shanked out of play to the left side for strike 2 on Rosario. That's a win for those boys at the end of the day. They got a baseball out of the deal. Byron Buxton waits on deck for the Twins. He has reached both times tonight, and the pitch. A little bouncer out there to shortstop. Andrews has it. Goes to first, and that one gets away from Napoli. So heading to third, Vargas. Rosario is safe. And bad has gone to worse in this 5th inning.
Yeah, that was going to be a tricky play because Rosario runs pretty well. It wasn't hit very hard. Elvis had to go to his right. He knows he's going to have to get rid of it quickly if he wants to have any chance to get the speedy Rosario. Rushed his throw, bounced out in front of Knapp, and Knapp wasn't able to get a glove on it. Would have been a close play, but Elvis had time to get him if he was able to make the quick throw accurately. Right off the tip of Knapp's glove.
Goes as an error on Elvis Andrus. Buxton swinging, and he sends it to the outfield. That chases Vargas home. Rosario will go to third. Buxton with the RBI single. And the Twins are piling on, 6-0.
Boy, just one of those innings. Everything they hit is finding a hole. They've hit a number of balls hard, but they've hit a few that weren't hit quite as hard. Found a hole. Rangers made an error. First 7 batters have faced here in the 5th inning have gotten on base that the Rangers have faced here in the 5th inning.
Well, not how Bass wanted his 2017 to start. He faces Dozier now, who has walked a couple of times, bounced into a double play. And Lucroy just does keep it nearby. A 5-run inning so far for Minnesota. A home run, 3 straight doubles, a single, an error, and a single. And so the Rangers going to have some work to do in their remaining at bats tonight. Irvin Santana has pitched well, and literally between each half inning he has had extended rest.
He's been well rested every time he's gone out there.
It's almost as if this is a strategy. They're trying to ice Santana.
Well, Santana's a pretty calm customer out on the mound, and the way he's pitching early in the year, probably going to take more than that to get him.
Middle of the infield set up for a double play. The 1-1 in the dirt. And as Bass continues in this relief outing, just looking for his first out. The book on Cashner closed when he left. He went 4+ innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, but walked 6, struck out 3. Bass has thrown 25. Well, this will be his 25th pitch in relief, and has yet to record an out. It's 3-1 on Dozier. Of course, you want to give a guy every opportunity to pitch himself out of trouble, but there is activity in that Rangers pen. There's a strike. It's a full count. Six runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Twins. They've left 7 men on base. Runner goes from first, bouncing ball second base. That means that Odor has just 1 play, and that is to get the out at first. Rosario comes in from third base. There is an out in the inning, but it's now 7-0 Twins. Dozier gets credit for an RBI on that ground out. Buxton now at second base. And it brings up Max Kepler. Kepler 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts.
Kepler was quite an athlete growing up in Germany. His parents were both professional ballet dancers, very athletic themselves, but he was a soccer player, a swimmer, a skier, had a scholarship to go to an elite tennis school. And out of all those sports, every one of them more popular in Europe than baseball, he ended up being a baseball player.
This is really interesting because in that part of the world, we just have not seen a ton of big league players. We talked earlier tonight about Davidas Neverauskas with the Pirates, the Lithuanian who made his big league debut yesterday, first ever born and raised in Lithuania to make it to the big leagues.
And it's funny that he would grow up, and I'm sure he grew up with friends and teammates who probably loved soccer, liked to ski, played tennis. Couldn't have grown up with a lot of people that loved baseball, but somehow the baseball bug got him, and that's what he wanted to do. And he's got a lot of talent. He's got an opportunity to be a very good player as he gets older. He doesn't obviously have the baseball background from the time he was little like a lot of other players do, Latin players and the American players. So he's got a little catching up to do in that regard. But athletically and physically, he's got all the tools to be a fine player, fine outfielder. Runs well, he's got some power. And look at what Chris Davis did to the Rangers last year for the A's. All the home runs and runs he knocked in. Kepler kind of similar. He knocked in 15 runs against the Rangers in 8 games.
Yeah, had 4 home runs. And you know, obviously was a big part of their onslaught of offense in that series last year. They'll roll out to Elvis Andrus for the second out of the inning. Buxton goes to third. Tonight, Kepler has been kept quiet.
A nice play by Elvis. That was a hard hit ball by Kepler. Elvis with the shift. The shift has taken away a few hits from the Twins today. Castro had a ball earlier in the game right straight up the middle that Elvis was standing there to catch.
So here's Miguel Sano. He opened this inning with a home run. And he takes strike 1. When you think of Eastern Europeans to make the big leagues, guys like Kepler and Neverauskas, Mo Drabowski comes to mind. Born in Poland. But there aren't.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, there aren't a ton. One ball, one strike on Sano. And he holds off for ball 2. Six runs in this 5th inning. It's been to the moment anyway, this is the 10th batter. 10 batter inning. That's 2-2. All right, our AT&T high-speed replay. Miguel Sano's had a good night tonight, not just at the plate.
Again, you know, he probably worn it out talking about Sano, but that guy's 270 pounds making those kind of plays. That you expect, launching a 440-foot home run. But the agility at third base, based on his size, is probably something, unless you knew a little bit about him, you might not have expected, especially the play on the bunt. You could see how Carlos bunted that ball. He had to step back almost to get out of the way of the ball. So by the time the ball was rolling, he was still in the batter's box. If that pitch was outside and he had already started toward first base, he would have beaten it out. But that doesn't take anything away from the play that Sano made.
It's this one out toward right center, drops in for a base hit. Buxton is in, the throw to second base, and Sano is thrown out.
Boy, he can really throw. Beautiful throw right there by Carlos Gomez to get that last out.
And it puts an end to the inning. Let's take another look as we go to break. Gold Glove center fielder, with a powerful arm. Go to the bottom of the 5th. Nothing Twins as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The first 15,000 fans to the ballpark on Saturday, April 29th will take home an Adrian Beltre Dancing Legs bobble, courtesy of Medical City Healthcare. That was easy for me to say. Rangers take on the Los Angeles Angels, 6:15 game. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Again, it's Saturday, April 29th. And I just want to thank, once again, Medical City Healthcare.
That promises to be one of the best bobbleheads of all time.
That is going to be certainly as popular as any has been around here in a long while.
Put that bobblehead out and see the leg shake, and it brings back great memories of watching Adrian Beltre play for the Rangers. Anyone that's watched Ranger baseball has seen those dancing legs from Adrian. That would be a nice bobblehead.
Now Odor takes a strike. It's 1-1. Rugned leading off the 5th inning. Then Elvis Andrus and Joey Gallo. The Rangers need to start with the it's the Peckaway plan, right?
Yeah, it's still early enough for the Peckaway plan. How'd you know about the Peckaway plan?
You've told me about the Peckaway plan. I love that one.
That's the Mark Holtz Peckaway theory. No, the John Blake Peckaway theory that Mark Holtz used to use, which means this early in the game you have to start getting a few runs. Late in the game, you have to go to the Judy Johns Big Bang theory. You can't afford to peck away. You got to have the big inning. Holtzy had probably 7 or 8 theories, and then when he was really hot with those theories, fans would offer their theories, and they came up with some great ones too. That was a lot of fun.
I love that. We tried to get it going in spring training one game. This year we were in Peoria. I think we were playing the Mariners that afternoon, and it was one of those that gotten away a little bit, and Blake poked his head in the back of the booth. And so I threw it out there. I said, it's time for the Peckaway plan. And of course, Johnny goes, Peckaway theory.
Yeah, and he should know it's named after him. But
right.
Mark was such a great guy. He would name his theories after friends and Ranger personnel. John Blake, of course, had been the PR director forever and is a good friend of Mark's. And Mark wanted all his friends to be part of every broadcast, and that's the way he did it. Judy Johns was an assistant in the baseball department. He named one after her. Dan Shimmick was the traveling secretary. He called him the people mover. Not a theory, but that was Shim's nickname. Shim's one of the security guards here at the ballpark now. See him at the elevator every night. I wish I could remember the other ones. We just weren't able to carry him on after Holtzy was gone. But boy, it was a lot of fun. And he was also a master at giving out nicknames. He thought up a nickname, he said it once, and it stuck. It was like automatic. Called Cecilio Guante, he called him the big Dominican man. That's what they call him. He was the one that called Ruben Sierra the golden child. Mark McLemore, the doctor of defense.
Yeah.
That was Holtzy. Rusty Greer was the Red Baron. He's the one that told me when I first started broadcasting, Mark was my first partner. And he said, if you want to be a broadcaster, you have to start eating like one. His favorite meal was whatever was served in any press box in America. He loved broadcasting. He loved baseball and everything about it. He loved the press dining room. When he was a little boy, he used to play Stratomatic baseball. And while he was playing Stratomatic baseball, he would announce the game. And before every Stratomatic game, his father played the national anthem on the piano before Holtzy broadcast. You know, I think every broadcast partner I've had has had a similar story. Bill Jones used to take a tape machine and sit in the upper deck at Old Ranger Ballpark and announce games. I think Josh Lewin used to do it on TV and at minor league games in Rochester. Did you do anything like that when you were little?
Yeah, it was kind of a mixture of a lot of those. The Stratomatic was certainly one. I built my own little stadium
At
in
your
my
house?
room out of cardboard, you know, out of a big box. I built my little stadium and had the little runners, and then I would roll the dice and play
That's
the
great.
games and talk my way through it. And then in San Francisco, once I graduated from college, I used to take this tape recorder up into Candlestick Park, up at the top of Candlestick Park, freezing to death, that wind whipping by, score the games on a manila envelope. And
You figure if you could broadcast from that vantage point, you could broadcast anywhere.
Andrew strikes out, 2 away. Let's go down to Emily Jones.
Yeah, our State Farm winning combination tonight revolves around Mr. Joey Gallo, who is up to bat. Hasn't done much tonight, but very, very productive on this homestand and really taking advantage of the opportunity that he's had at third base in the absence of Adrian Beltre. Joey just talked about the confidence, the consistency of being in the lineup, and also, too, that coupled with having, oh, here we go.
Hey, here it comes! And it's gone! Number 7 for Joey Gallo. And he was looking for Emily Jones out there.
Well, it's the first home run. I think it's the first home run Santana's given up. Let's check on that. He's given up a couple of runs. Nope, one of them was a home run that he gave up. Second home run. He's been stingy with the runs, though. 2 runs in 28 innings coming into the game, and only 1 run in the 5th inning today.
Well, that one looked a lot like the one that hit the popcorn wagon out there a couple of days ago. I mean, almost the exact same spot.
Check it out. Wow. That could be Gallo's alley right there.
This one hit well out to left. Rosario able to track it down to win the inning. Well, Joey Gallo finally breaks through against Irvin Santana. We go to the 6th inning. The Rangers are on the board. right there. 8-1 on the Gallo home run.
First baseman Joe Mauer.
Inside part of the plate. That's where they've tried to throw Joey, but if he keeps turning on him like that, they might try to go away rather than pound him in with the fastball. Well, almost a carbon copy of the one he hit the other day. The one he hit the other day went over the popcorn wagon. That one went right in front of it.
424 feet, huh?
109 and 424. Pretty good poke, but not quite the same as his other one.
That's number 7 on the year for Gallo. And now Joe Mauer leading things off. Mauer today 2 for 3. Well, he's having a real good day at the plate.
Now finishing up talking about Mark Holtz, he loved the baseball experience. He loved going out to eat, and he picked the place that you ate.
Like
you didn't on the road. You didn't get to pick your restaurant. He had his restaurants, and that's where you went, which was fine. They were all really good restaurants. But then when you got to the restaurant, you had to eat what he liked. He loved it so much that he wanted you to experience the same joy. And his favorite restaurant was the Kabuki Steakhouse in Kansas City. And when you went there, I mean, it was the Kabuki Steakhouse, so you might think you might want to go there to get a steak.
Absolutely.
You had to get the shrimp tempura because that was his favorite meal. And it was great, and it wasn't a problem, but that's what it had to be. In Seattle, there's a restaurant named Cutter's, a great seafood restaurant. And if you didn't like salmon, you shouldn't go out to eat with Holtzy because it was the king salmon. That's what he ordered, and that's what you ordered because he wanted to see if you liked it as much as he did. And you couldn't help but love everything that you ate with him, every place you went with him, every conversation you had, every time you were at a ball game with him, because he loved it so much. His enthusiasm, his joy for the game was a thing of joy.
Andrews with a good backhand stop gets Mauer. 1 away in the 6th inning. Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana.
Shortstop Jorge Polanco.
Wow.
First game I ever broadcast with Holtzy, I came back into the booth about 20 minutes before the game, and he was sitting in front of his score sheet, and he was going, batter, 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 swing, batter, 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 swing, swing. And I looked at him, and he said, just warming up for the game, just warming up for the game. Big smile on his face. Just loved it, boy.
1 ball and 1 strike on Polanco, who has walked and doubled, scored a run today. That's good stuff. This one lifted out to left field. Rua able to track it down. 2 away in the 6th inning. So Anthony Bass has come back and gotten the first 2 men he's faced here in the 6th after a really tough 5th inning for him. Now, Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app presented by Hyundai.
I got to tell one last Mark Holtz story because this is my favorite one. The other thing he loved to do before the game, he would pick a word. Okay. And whoever used the word first won the contest. Well, he took over the 1st inning, so I didn't really talk until the 2nd inning. So he had a great shot to get the word in. So Dave Burchett, our director, picked a phrase for us: malfunction at the junction. And in the 1st inning, there's a man on first base, a ground ball. The runner takes out the shortstop. Holtzy, before he said anything, looked at me and smiled and went, "We have a malfunction at the junction." And then he just laughed for 4 innings after that. Oh, man, it was so much fun being around him. I miss him.
Gallo gobbles that one up and completes a 1-2-3 inning first of the night for the Rangers defensively. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Slam inning brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Today's jackpot worth $200 plus dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. And today the Rangers are hitting for Anna Mask of Weatherford. If a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Anna will win $200. But if a Ranger hits a grand slam, Anna will win $25,000. Well, Rangers pecked away for a run in the 5th inning. Joey Gallo with the homer. Now Ryan Rua leading off the 6th inning, and he hits that ball sharply down the 3rd baseline. That's a fair ball. And a weird carom out to Rosario. Going to give him a throw to 2nd, and Rua is gunned down.
Man, he just smoked that ball down the line and then got bad luck. The ball caromed off the wall. It's a ball off the bat. You just assume it's going to be a double. And Ryan's busted it out of the box, turned first, and got halfway to 2nd base. And then I think he realized that the ball had bounced right straight to Rosario, who picked it up, threw a strike into 2nd base, and got Ryan trying to go for his double. But there it is right down the line. And here's where it hits. Caroms right by the ball girl, right straight to Rosario, who catches it coming towards 2nd, makes a strong throw. The Rangers have had 3 men thrown out on the bases in this game. Not that Santana has needed any help, but essentially that's 1 inning he didn't have to pitch.
Well, that's some buzzard's luck right there. And Chu in a hole 0-1. Had a single in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd. The 80th pitch of the night from Santana results in strike 2. Now last of the 6th inning. It was a 7-run 5th. It really changed this game. And ball and 2 strikes now on Chu.
I'm sitting here daydreaming about Bar Colts. I thought of one more restaurant. He loved Greektown in Detroit. And you had to get lamb chops and fried cheese. I'd never had the fried cheese before. And so he took great joy in ordering. And when the waiter brought this giant plate of cheese, it was on fire. And he lit it on fire and put it in the middle, and they screamed, "Opa, Opa." And Holtzy just stared and smiled and then dug into that fried cheese. It was good. But that was one of his 3rd, I think maybe his 3rd favorite place was Greektown. And I'm not really complaining about having to eat what he wanted you to eat, because everything he had, it was great. Everything was delicious.
A 3-2 pitch to Chu, and that one misses low, so he draws the walk. Base runner in the 6th inning. And a reminder, don't miss the Toadies post-game concert Saturday, April 29th. Stick around after the Rangers-Angels matchup at 6:15 for this show presented by Budweiser. Go to TexasRangers.com/concerts for your game tickets and for information on how you can see the Toadies in concert from the field. So Chu is on, and now Gomez. Was there any restaurant that he took you guys, or you kind of got tired of it, or thought, no, I don't know?
No. You know, and even if you did, you wouldn't mind going because you just saw the joy that it brought him bringing his friends to his favorite restaurant. It didn't matter. If you said to yourself, man, I don't want king salmon again, you just said, but it's okay because we're going with Holtzy. He's just one of those guys. Walked in with that smile on his face. A couple of the places, they knew him pretty well. You know, I was only his partner for a couple of years. Eric Nadel has way more history and stories than I do. Eric was his partner for I'm not sure how many years, probably 10 or 12 years maybe, before Holtzy came over to TV. So there's a lot of opportunities where I'll be talking to Eric about Holtzy and get even more stories than that from all the time that Eric spent with him.
Yeah, Eric has, what an incredible array of stories he has too. Yeah. There you go. There's our Hall of Fame radio voice, Eric Nadel.
You know, and if Holtzy had lived as long as he should have, both of them would have been in the Hall of Fame.
2-strike pitch. That one fouled off of Gomez's leg. Eric was entertaining us the other day with stories of his days when he did an inning of play-by-play on Spanish radio.
Yeah.
And he did it so that, I can't remember the name now, your Spanish broadcaster at the time wanted a smoke break in the 5th inning, and so Eric would fill in and do the 5th in Spanish. And stories from those days were hysterical.
Well, Eric made a point to learn Spanish and actually broadcast a game in Cuba in Spanish. That's pretty good.
That's pretty amazing.
And he's sitting there right now wondering, okay, what are they talking about?
What did I do now? Gomez down on strikes, 2 away in this 6th inning. And it brings up Nomar Mazara.
Well, Santana has been able to stay focused and stay sharp in spite of being on the bench between innings several times for long periods of time as the Twin hitters batted. A lot of base runners, a lot of long half innings, but it hasn't seemed to affected his sharpness very much.
I've taken care of Mazara both times tonight. I think you have to give a little hat tip as well, what you just mentioned, but also, I've heard guys talk about it before when a game kind of starts to roll decidedly to one side and the margin gets pretty wide. Sometimes, it can be a challenge for certain guys to maintain a focus and an intensity like they might have in a 1-0 game or a scoreless game when you're up by 7 runs. But he's maintained it.
Yeah, sure has.
Long look in that time, and Mazara will ask for a reset. Now the 1-strike pitch. So he did walk Chu. And he might not be in the zone quite as regularly here in the 6th inning anyway as he was earlier. Couple of walks today issued by Santana. Has 4 strikeouts. He's allowed the 1 run on 4 hits. The run came on the Gallo home run in the 5th inning. And it's now 2-1 to Mazara. The Rangers opened this homestand with a 4-game sweep over the Kansas City Royals, and it extended a dominance over Kansas City going back to last year. It was almost unprecedented, sweeping back-to-back 4-game series. Mazara hits this one high in the air out to right field, but the wind going to knock it down a little bit for Kepler. And he puts it away to end the bottom half of the 6th inning. So we go to the 7th. Twins lead by 7. Twins leading it 8-1. And Delano DeShields is coming to play center field. So Gomez out of the game now. And we want to double check. Going back to Gomez fouling that one off his foot.
Wow.
It was a
Looked like he twisted it as he turned, too. Not sure that the ball off his foot hurt as much as twisting his foot like that did.
He looks like he's in fine spirits in the dugout, but a good excuse regardless to get him off his feet and get some time for DeShields out there in center field. Kenny Vargas will lead off the top of the 7th for Minnesota. Had 7 of those 8 runs in the 5th inning, an inning in which they sent 10 men to the plate. Had 7 hits, took advantage of an error as well. It was just a tough 20 minutes. That's what it comes down to, and it's the difference in the game. One and 2 the count on Vargas. And Vargas started the scoring tonight back in the 4th inning. Kind of right there into the front row, and that would be the first of 2 home runs against Andrew Cashner. The second one knocked him out of the game. Anthony Bass in long relief today. He had a real rough go of it in that 5th inning. There was a time where he had not recorded an out. I think he'd used maybe 25 pitches, and there was some thought, concern, whatever, that he might not even get an out tonight and just be done. But now here he is pitching in a 3rd inning, and this pop up out into short left field will be handled by Rua, and there's 1 out. All right, time for the 4th game summary tonight. And that big crooked 7 in the 5th inning tells the story. Cashner really had trouble with command today. 6 walks in his 4 innings. And then the first 7 batters reaching base in the 5th inning for Minnesota. And not cheapies either. Home run, double, double, double. Single error, single. Rosario pops this one up. And it's curling away into the seats. A rebound. A Twins fan will leave with a souvenir. One and 1 to Eddie Rosario. Well, Twins don't harbor any delusions of grandeur. I don't think they feel that this is their division to win this year. They're not giving anything away, but they are trying to develop some of their young players. And a roller up the middle, very slowly hit, and it had eyes. Rosario is on.
Well, you never know how young players are going to develop, but they have a number of young players that they're giving an opportunity. Rosario, Buxton, Vargas, Polanco, Sano, Kepler, all young developing players. Most of them homegrown players.
And most of them right around 23 years old. Rosario, it turns out 25 years old, kind of the elder statesman of the group. And then there's this guy Buxton, 23 years old. And the 2nd pick overall in 2012. And that was a bit of a surprise. It was widely thought that he was the hands down #1 pick in that draft. But the Astros had that pick, and they kind of shocked everyone When they took Carlos Correa, paid him well under slot at that time, and used that money elsewhere in the draft to try and kind of re-engineer things. Buxton then fell to the Twins, which I'm sure surprised them just a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that Houston in that draft did a very nice job of allocating their money, and as it turned out, they didn't have to take a back seat with Carlos Correa to any player.
No, they sure didn't. That was the first year of the kind of the new structure of the draft, where the money per round was so rigidly set. Line shot to right, and Mazzara hauls it in. Buxton is the second out of the inning.
A well hit ball by Buxton. Nomar shading a little bit toward the foul line in right field. That's a good jump. Ends up making an easy catch on a hard hit ball. Dropped it after he caught it as he transferred it to his hand, so that certainly qualifies as a catch.
Now Dozier, and he takes a high strike. So Anthony Bass, we've been doling out compliments to a handful of guys tonight all over the place, but hey, how about that? I mean, this guy's really come back and gotten himself right and eaten up some very important innings. And this ball lined to Odor to win things in the seventh. I want to give the fans here a chance to stand and stretch. 8-1 Minnesota. Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. So I had a fan tell me that they think there should be a serving out there called Gallo Crunch.
Well, if he keeps hitting them out there with this regularity, there probably will be.
Caramel corn or something. Hey, the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark this Sunday will get a Rangers duffel bag courtesy of Powerade. Rangers and Angels 2:05 game. As we get going, you can get your tickets TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers. One and one, the count to Mike Napoli. Well, Santana closing in on 100 pitches for the evening. And Napoli lines out one to Sano. How about that guy?
There've been some line drives caught in this game for both teams. No problem for the big guy. He had the hang time, but he didn't need it.
Yeah, kind of adding a little flair to the play. That's all right.
Why not?
Here's Odor, who just caught a line drive himself moments ago. And he hits a line drive high and deep, but foul over to the right side. That thing carrying well. Wow.
Man with a baby.
Wow. There you go. I don't know what's more impressive. Kid's having fun.
You wouldn't know it by you wouldn't know it by the tears in his eyes.
0-2 to Odor. That's exciting.
Guess who hit another home run tonight?
Eric Thames?
Yeah. He's only got one though. For now.
Yeah, 11 for the month.
See what inning is it? It's the 8th. I'm gonna get another at bat.
Check swing from Odor. 1-2 the count. Well, the big series tonight, outside of ours, of course, is the Astros and Indians. Nice matchup of a couple of division leaders in the American League. Astros won again. They beat the Indians 4-2 in that one.
Is that Dallas Keuchel tonight? He's off to a great start. He must have been hurt last year.
Right.
He didn't look like the same Dallas Keuchel last year.
I agree with you. They say that Odor went around, and that strikeout is the second out of the inning. But Keuchel got the win in that one. He's now 4-0. All right, time for a Chevy game break. We check it again with Dana Larson.
Elvis Andrews.
Wow, yeah, thanks, Dana. That's we need to see more of those kind of slides at the plate. That is beautiful. Superman. 2 out, and Andrews lifts this one out into short left field. Polanco gets out there, fights the wind, makes the catch, and it ends the inning. We'll go to the 8th inning tonight. Globe Life Park, Irvin Santana cruising with a 7-run lead. Tuesday. Tickets for the Twins-Rangers game, just $10, and you can add a $10 meal deal when purchasing online. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials to secure your $10 Tuesday tickets. April 25th. Use the coupon code FSSW10. All right, Jerks and Profars come in to play second base. So we've seen Gomez leave the game, Odor leave the game. Both guys who have not, up until just moments ago, been able to take any real time off. So Jeff Bannister using the opportunity to get a couple of guys off their feet. And now there is strike one to Max Kepler. They'll go 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Twins in this 8th inning. This one shot over short, and that's a base hit into left field. So Kepler disdaining the shift the other way. His first hit of the night, and now Miguel Sano, his home run in the 5th inning. Chase Cashner from the game. He later in the same inning would drive home another run with a base hit, but was thrown out at second base to win the rally. Bouncer through the left side. Back-to-back singles to start the 8th inning. Bass has done such a great job of getting things back in order after a rough start when he came on in the 5th inning. May well be running out of gas.
Third straight hit for Sano. Home run, single. He's also walked in the game. 18th walk, leads the American League. Probably going to be it for Anthony. Yes, it is. Jeff Bannister signals to the bullpen.
Alex Claudio coming on when we come back. Brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. So a couple of men on for the Twins here in the 8th inning. Alex Claudio is come on to pitch. Anthony Bass ran out of gas a little bit in this 8th inning. Claudio making his 9th appearance of the year.
Yeah, Alex has pitched well. Obviously, all I have to do is look at the numbers to see that. Pitched 8 innings, hasn't given up a run, only given up 6 hits in 8 innings. We'll try to strand Anthony Bass's 2 runners, men at first and second with nobody out here in the 8th inning.
So he is on to deal with a left-handed hitting Joe Mauer. We got a report much earlier tonight from Dana on one of our game breaks about that Astros game in Cleveland and the collision that Altuve got into and took him out of the ball game. And from what I understand, reports we're getting, he has been undergoing some concussion protocol, and they're monitoring him. The other player, and I should know the name, but he was pulled off the field. He needed help getting off the field. Bouncer on the right side. Napoli will go to second for 1, and Andrus will hold it. Kepler was rounding third base, so wisely Andrus want to make sure he didn't go any further, and that's tough to get that out at first base on the back end of the double play.
And what you hope, once you realize you're not going to throw it to first, you look toward third just in case the third base coach anticipated a throw to first and waved the runner around, in which case you might be able might see it happen.
So they're on the corners with one out.
Sometimes it's not the third base coach. Sometimes the player wants to keep on going.
Polanco takes ball one. And Polanco today walked the RBI double. Bouncer third. Gallo will go to second for one. The relay in time. Profar able to turn it from second base, and the inning is over. And Alex Claudio has come on and doused what little fire, little spark may have existed in the top of the eighth. They're the best in the business at turning the double play. This time it's Gallo, Profar to Napoli.
For Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Look to the third inning. Irvin is becoming a favorite spot for Joey Gallo. The line shot over the seats down the right field line.
That's working for him. Ryan Presley has come on for the Twins, so Santana is done. And that is the best news the Rangers have gotten in a little while.
It's the fifth game that Santana has pitched where he's given up one run or less. Two of them he hasn't given up any runs. Three of them he's given up one run. So he's given up 3 runs in 5 starts. 35 innings.
Well, nice that he is no longer in the West Division and is now in the Central. And the Rangers don't have to deal with him quite as often.
Well, he's the early favorite to start the All-Star game.
You betcha.
In April, anyway.
Ground ball, second base. Dozier is there. One out in the bottom of the 8th inning. They just clean up a little something. I started last inning about Altuve and the collision tonight in Cleveland. He was chasing a pop-up out into right field. It was Teoscar Hernandez who he ran into. And Hernandez, I think they're worried about something lower body with him, but looked like Hernandez maybe forearm or something to Altuve's head. It was really an ugly scene out there in Cleveland, and of course we hope everybody's okay. Jonathan Lucroy 1 for 2. Meanwhile, the other game that we had talked about early on was the Mariners debacle that they were suffering through with the Tigers. That has not improved. 19-7. Here's a fly ball center field. Buxton puts it away. There are some ugly ones today.
The Mariners have 9 runs now. The Mariners have 9 runs and 16 hits. And they're
going to get smoked.
They're getting beat by 9.
I mean, it's absolutely throttled.
Tigers have 19 runs and 24 hits.
And Felix Hernandez went just 2 innings in that one for Seattle. So one of those days, I guess, as Ryan Rua takes one high. Worse for the Mariners is that Haniger had to leave that game with what looked like a strained oblique, or was reported later on as a strained oblique. So
yeah, that can be a month before you're back, depending on how severe it is.
And certainly when we were in Seattle recently, Mitch Haniger was one of the real bright spots for that team. So that's tough news for the Mariners. The 1-1 to Rua. Strike 2. Ryan Presley on in relief. 6'3", 210 pounds, local kid, born in Dallas. He graduated from Marcus High School up in Flower Mound. And Presley became a Twin via the Rule 5 draft. He was originally with the Red Sox, but the Twins plucked him out of that Rule 5 draft before the 2013 season, and he's pitched in the big leagues ever since.
He's got a great arm. 96, 97 miles an hour with his fastball. It's a pretty good Rule 5 draft pick.
Chad Fairchild, our plate umpire tonight, he's called a lot of pitches, and he's taking a couple of foul balls. Both those guys talking about the foul balls that they've been taking off their mask in this at bat.
Boy, I hit the side of the mask, almost ripped it right off.
Two and two to Rua. Bottom of the 8th inning. A ball game that was, this was a weird game the way it started. Andrew Cashner was working around all kinds of walks, tons of traffic in the early innings, but was getting away with it. Left the game trailing just 2-0. There's strike 3 called. Rua down looking, and it ends the 8th. All right, to the 9th inning tonight, when the Rangers trail the Twins by 7.
ballpark in Arlington with the Rangers trailing by 7. Don't forget, we'll have the post-game edition of Rangers Live coming up right after the game. Mark McLemore and Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez are here to break down this game. Also help us look ahead to Cole Hamels making the start in the finale tomorrow. Plus, we take a look around baseball. Why such a short outing for King Felix? And also tons of news and notes from the Houston Astros tonight. All of that, including a lot of reaction from Jeff Bannister in the Rangers clubhouse right here. That's coming up right after the game, guys.
All right, thanks, Dana. Yeah, a lot of work to do. Meanwhile, 9th inning here. Claudio just wants to turn in some more quietly effective work. Amazing how he has performed really these last 2 years. Just comes in and very quietly takes care of business. Gobbles up multiple innings at a time. Faced 2 batters, got 3 outs in the 8th. And now we'll try and get us to the bottom of the 9th. Let's see if the Rangers can come create one of the bigger, wilder comebacks that the league has seen this year. It's possible.
Yeah, Alex, in today's game for sure, when you look at the 98, 95, 97 mile an hour arms that come out of every bullpen, it's kind of unconventional. And he has earned his place in the bullpen. When he came up, he had to kind of wait his turn, pitch in games and situations that weren't quite as meaningful as they are now. And last year, he earned the respect of his manager, who used him in tough situations. And this year, he's one of the key components out in the bullpen. Bannister has the confidence to bring him in to face lefties, righties, leave him in for multiple innings. And Alex has earned that right. He came in last inning, met on first and second. In 4 pitches, he was out of the inning without a run scoring.
Well, it's Castro to roll out, and now Vargas. It's a kick, right, to come to the ballpark and see the guys light up the radar gun. And you see it every night now. It doesn't matter where you're catching a game, who's in it, but somebody's going to put some crazy number up on the scoreboard. For my money, though, it is still it's so entertaining. It's fun to watch a guy like Claudio.
Well, it's so rare to see a guy like Alex. It just more often than not, when a guy comes in out of the bullpen after the 6th inning, he's throwing 95 miles an hour. And to watch Alex come in and do it with an 86, 87, 88 mile an hour fastball and that great changeup that he throws, it is a lot of fun to watch it. And it just goes to show you that it's not just the radar gun. You can do it with finesse, and you can do it with a big heart. That's what Alex does it with. And his stuff is also a lot better than maybe the radar gun would give it credit for. It's the differential in speeds between your fastball and your changeup. And that differential, whether the fastball is 98 or 88, is what disrupts the timing of the hitter. You see how effective the changeup is with the one that just struck out Vargas.
And there you go. First pitch swinging. The bouncer to Profar.
12 pitches, 6 outs.
I mean, it's crazy. Awesome job once again from Alex Claudio. And now the greatest comeback in history coming up.
The Twins by a score of 8-1 as we head to the bottom of the ninth. And we've got some injury updates for you. Sam Dyson down in Round Rock pitching last night and tonight. A couple of relatively successful outings for Dyson. Tonight just took 10 pitches to get out of the inning. There you see the total numbers for both of those outings. 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 Ks, and 1 walk. Again, just 10 pitches tonight. Also another update, well, one more on Dyson. He plans to be back available on Friday. He'll take tomorrow to rest and also the off day on Thursday. Also, Tyson Ross throwing from 200 feet today, expects to be back on the mound by the end of the week, guys.
All right, well, that's a lot of good news right there. As we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. New second baseman is Eduardo Escobar, takes over in this ninth inning. And in left field, Danny Santana. So a couple of defensive substitutions. Craig Breslow will be the third pitcher tonight. Irvin Santana went 7 innings, allowed a run on 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 6, and then Ryan Presley a scoreless 8th inning. So top of the order against Breslow. And Chu just does foul it off.
I love it when Craig Breslow comes in and we get to talk about him a little bit. He graduated from Yale with degrees in molecular biophysics and biochemistry and was named the smartest man in baseball by the Wall Street Journal in 2009. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
He might be smarter than you are.
Well, he's definitely, I guarantee you he's smarter than I am.
The truck just confirmed that.
They were a little quick to do that.
Well, he's the smartest man in baseball, and with that degree, most of us don't even know what that degree means, let alone ever attempt to try to get it.
Well, and there's some smart guys too, like Chris Young is out there.
Sure.
Like Princeton grad.
A lot of smart guys.
0-2 the count on Chu. Breslow in this ninth, working with a robust 7-run lead.
He's also done a lot in the communities where he's pitched. In Boston, he founded the Strike 3 Foundation for Childhood Cancer Research, won the Unsung Hero Award in Boston. Tim Wakefield Community Award, Red Sox Man of the Year, nominated for the Roberto Clemente Award. So in addition to being a very nice big league pitcher, a brilliant kid, he also does many charitable things in the communities in which he pitches.
Well, he just gave up an infield hit. No, they're going to say an error on Polanco. Let's take a look here.
Did a bad throw. Let's see. Looked like he pulled him off the bag, but did he come down in time to make it an out? Let's take another look.
I'll tell you this much, they're
off
going to
the
review
bag.
it.
He's on the bag, maybe? If he's on the bag right there, he might have gotten back down. This will tell. Off the bag.
Right there, off.
Is he? I don't know. Shin-Su's foot got in the way.
That's going to be tough, which, given what we just looked at, makes me think that the play is going to stand.
I think it's going to stand.
Molitor had that review left in his arsenal, so he says, well, what the heck, we'll use it. Currently an error on Polanco. I thought initially when I watched it live, I thought the call was that he was safe because he beat it.
Yeah.
And then so obviously the fact that he pulled him off the bag
is the error part of it.
Is the error.
Well, this is a big play for you personally with that declaration you made of the biggest comeback, of the year.
Ever. Yeah.
You need this call.
No, you're right. You're right. This is critical. And
because a big rally has to start somewhere.
Well, and an absurd rally is always going to start with something like an error. You know what I mean? It's hardly ever.
Something has to open the floodgates.
So here we go.
Oh, called him out.
Killing me. How they could overturn that on the views we saw, that's baffling. All right.
But it looked like if he did in fact come down and touch the base, that he did it before Shin-Soo got there. It was just tough, at least for us, not for them evidently, but tough for us to tell if that happened. Evidently they did. They saw it.
So Chu retired, and now here comes Delano, his first at bat of the day. We did talk about it a little bit at the top of the broadcast today, some of the evolving philosophies, I guess, if you will. Offensively, we're going to see a little more of Delano DeShields in coming games. We're going to see a lot more of Ryan Rua in left field. He's going to take over more or less the everyday job there. 0-2 the count to DeShields. We're going to see DeShields get a little bit of time in center field and in left when Rua occasionally will play first. So Jeff Bannister shuffling things a little bit today, and even doing so at the top of his order where he put Chu in the leadoff spot and dropped Carlos Gomez to the 2-hole. Chu responded by getting on twice tonight, almost a third time there just a moment ago. Santana had a great start once again tonight. Ryan Presley a scoreless inning, and now Craig Breslow. Andrew Kashner battled command issues early on, but got through 4 innings before giving it to Anthony Bass, who went 3. And it's a full count now on DeShields. The payoff. Got a bouncer third base. That's going to be a tough play for Sano, and he won't get it. A fair ball, and Breslow ultimately has to come pick it up.
Yeah, he wasn't going to have a throw on that. As nicely as he's played third base, I don't think Pitch Robinson is going to be able to throw out Delano on this play. But what happened to him, the reason he didn't catch it is it looked like the ball skimmed the top of the bag. Let's see if that happens. Takes a big hop, yeah, and then it hits the back of the bag. So instead of taking the hop that he anticipated, it just hugged the ground and stayed underneath his glove. That was next to an impossible play after it hit the bag. Right off the back of the bag, went straight down.
So some good speed out there now. And Omar Mazara. All right, our AT&T pitching matchup tomorrow. Final game of this 3-game series. Hector Santiago, who is off to a very nice start, takes the ball for Minnesota. Cole Hamels will have the call for the Rangers. And a bouncer right side. They'll go to second for the 1 out. And that's all they'll get.
Big guy turning it. 4-5-3. Came across the bag, and he's got some kind of arm strength. Couldn't quite get it out of his glove, but came across the bag and looked like a 270-pound shortstop trying to do it. The base runner think twice before they try to take him out at second base. That's a challenge that you don't see very often. Thankfully, Delano did not make contact with Miguel.
What a busy night he has had. And so now with Mazara at first, Napoli stands in. Every time you look up, he's doing something. One strike pitch. And 1-1 to Napoli, who is hitless so far in 3 tries tonight. His last time up, just did a rod down to third and right into Sano's glove. By the mound, charging Polanco. He'll have time, and he gets Napoli. That one ends the ball game. So the Rangers get a hit, but can't get that rally started, and they fall short tonight. 8-1, our final score. And the good news, is we can put this behind us and come back tomorrow, Tom.
We'll do that. We'll be here.
All right, a lot more coming up. Dana, Mac, and Pudge back to talk about Cashner's control tonight. We'll talk about Joey Gallo when we come back. For Tom Grieve, Emily Jones, and the entire crew, this is Dave Raymond telling you to stay with us. Lots more coming up right after this.